Now, there's an idea so deeply built into early childhood that most of us never stop to question it. If you ask a young child what comes first when learning to read, many will confidently answer, the alphabet. You got to learn that first. And honestly, it makes perfect sense. The alphabet feels like the foundation of literacy. We sing it before children even enter school. It's a catchy little tune, and we celebrate when they can recite it independently. So naturally, many parents feel the same. First learn the alphabet, then learn to read. But today, I want to explore something that surprises many families. Alphabet order and reading order are actually two completely different things. And understanding the difference often explains why reading sometimes feels harder than expected at the beginning. Now, the alphabet, it's brilliant. It allows language to be organized. It helps us sort information, find words quickly, and communicate efficiently. But the alphabet was never created as a teaching sequence for reading development. It organizes letters visually, not linguistically. Reading, however, depends entirely on spoken language, and spoken language follows patterns of sound, not alphabetical arrangement. So when children learn letters alphabetically, well, they gain knowledge, but not necessarily reading readiness. When children begin reading, their brains are not thinking about alphabetical sequence. They are trying to connect speech they already know with printed symbols. They already understand spoken words long before reading begins, and you can rightly say they're hardwired for it. But reading asks them to map familiar sounds onto unfamiliar visual shapes. This mapping works best when letters introduced early can immediately combine into meaningful words. Now, if letters arrive in an order that prevents them from building simple words, progress feels delayed. Children accumulate knowledge without application. Now, imagine learning to play the piano by memorizing keys in alphabetical order. A, B, C, D, and so on. Now, our musical alphabet only uses the first 7 letters of the alphabet, A to G. And even if you included all the sharps and flats, all those black keys in between the white ones, well, you only have to memorize 12 notes. Now, it doesn't seem too tough. And even if you learn the names of all those notes in order and were gifted with perfect pitch, recognizing the sound each of those notes makes in an instant, well, this still wouldn't make you the next Mozart. Music doesn't spring from a knowledge of letter names and sounds. Music comes to life when notes are grouped into patterns, building a tension and resolve between notes. Reading is very similar. Letters become powerful only when they interact with each other in a meaningful way. And children need opportunities to experience how language is formed, not just memorize shapes and symbols. So when letters are taught alphabetically, early combinations often cannot form simple, child-friendly words. So children practice letter recognition without purpose. Now, later, when blending begins, well, the brain must reorganize previously learned information into usable patterns. Now, that extra reorganization increases cognitive load. Now, parents notice hesitation or slower blending, not because learning failed, but because learning occurred in a less efficient sequence. Reading-focused instruction introduces letters strategically. This raises the most important question one can ask. Which letters allow children to read the most words in the shortest possible time? And believe me, the correct order will profoundly affect the way you teach your child to read. Now, when children can create real words early, something important happens. Reading stops feeling theoretical. It's no longer a grueling session with flashcards. It now becomes an integral part of meaningful communication. And this is deeply motivating for young learners. Even if you never hear them say the words, I assure you the internal dialogue is there. Why am I learning this? And in school, you can almost guarantee they'll ask, will this be on the test? They want to know, is this worth the effort? When they can make that connection with reading and achieve results quicker than they thought, measurable success can be celebrated. Every goal, every benchmark and milestone in between becomes a challenge worth striving for. Now, I can tell you firsthand that a motivated student for any teacher is a gift from above. Success encourages persistence. Persistence strengthens skill. It's a win-win no matter how you slice it. Children, they're pretty hard on themselves. They judge their abilities quickly. And self-confidence is delicate and needs to be built and nurtured with care. When misguided instruction delays meaningful reading experiences, frustration can quickly develop. It's a slippery slope and a lot like building trust. It's so easy to lose, but so hard to build up afterwards. Now, when things start to slip, you'll know it. Your child may appear distracted or resistant, and it is often because they simply haven't yet experienced reading working for them. Yes, teaching reading in the wrong order not only influences academic success and school readiness, but carries an emotional load that can deeply affect the learning experience. Understanding reading order helps parents make calmer instructional decisions. When I discovered it, it was a clarity that was overwhelmingly refreshing. Now, instead of worrying about covering every letter immediately, your focus shifts towards usable combinations. And yes, you heard that correctly. You don't have to teach all the sounds at once. A carefully selected group, as little as 6 letters, can have your child reading their first 20 words in less than a week. Now try this little experiment for yourself. Just take out 5 minutes and spell as many words as you can with the letters A, B, C, D, E, and F, the first 6 letters. Now compare that to a list of words you can spell with the letters S, A, T, P, I, and N. Afterwards, I think you'll see that one group clearly outshines the other. When real progress comes quicker than expected, it will be an exciting time for you and your child. These new experiences build momentum, and teaching your child feels easier, dare I say, deceptively simple. Many parents describe this adjustment as removing unnecessary struggle. Less friction, more winning. Now, once instruction aligns with reading order, here's what you have to look forward to. Blending improves, guessing decreases, children attempt unfamiliar words more confidently. Reading sessions, they feel smoother. Now, these changes aren't accidental. They reflect alignment between instruction and how the brain naturally acquires reading skills. If your child has already learned letters alphabetically, there's no need to start over. It's still a valuable skill. All you need to do is simply adjust how those letters are used moving forward. The sequence is everything. It always has been, and now you know it. So what's the next move? With any journey, you need a clear starting point. Now, you can't ask Google Maps to plot a direction when you don't establish that starting point. And you and I both know the destination. Your child, the strong, independent reader who loves to read. Now, knowing where your child is at right now gives us a starting point, and that will help you know your next move. I would love to help you with that. That is why I created a free reading assessment. It's super simple, and it will help you plan your next move with confidence. The link is in the description below. So to all you courageous moms and dads out there, stay wonderful, and I'll see you again real soon.